Hello students, today we will study about boss arbitration. So what do you mean by boss arbitration? In the previous classes we have seen about direct memory access. So boss arbitration is somehow related with your controlling with the processor, and so it is a process by which you can control the request coming from the devices, coming from different devices. For example, in a system we have different types of buses. Okay, from that we are using a system bus. Right? In the previous class I have given you a picture, and here there the processor and memory is connected with the IO devices with a system bus. Okay, and as there are one system bus and multiple devices are connected to it, let's take this is a system bus. Okay, like this. Sorry. Okay, this is system bus and multiple devices are connected to this, and each and every device wants to access the system bus simultaneously. Then there is a conflict arise that who will access the system bus first. It means at a time one device can send a request or receive. So to overcome these type of conflicts we are using a mechanism is called as boss arbitration. Okay, and there is a boss master which decides who will take the bus first or who will access the bus when. Okay, so in the boss arbitration basically we resolve the conflict which arise when the number of DMA controllers or direct memory access controllers or other controllers or processors try to access the common bus or the system buslets at the same time. But as we know that bus can be accessed by one of them, so only one processor or one controller can be bus master at the same point of time. To resolve these conflicts, boss arbitration procedure is implemented. Okay, so that all devices can coordinate with others for requesting the memory transfers. Okay, and how it will do that the boss master selects the devices by establishing a priority system. Okay, here what it will decide, it decides on the basis of priority. Okay, so how it will help? It usually try to balance priority and fairness. That means either, what do you mean by fairness? Either services is given to all or none. Okay, either each and every device will get the service or no device will get the service. Okay, so there are basically three mechanisms we are following to overcome this or to place this boss arbitration. First one is daisy chain. Okay, so let's check about daisy chain. Okay. And every decision is done by the master, boss master. Okay. So here is a diagram of daisy chain. So daisy chain, in the daisy chain mechanism, there is a boss master and there are two lines, one is boss request and one is boss busy. So and each devices is connected with their priorities. That means here D1 is of highest priority and D3 is of lowest priority. So when let's take an example that if D1, D2 and D3 wants to access the bus at the same point of time, then they will send the request through this line, bus request line, to the bus master that we want to use the system bus or common bus. Then the bus master will decide between them by using the priorities. That means first it will check whether D1 is sending the request or not. Yes, D1 is sending. Then it will send a grant signal, boss grant signal to the D1. Okay, and D1, then the D1 will will send that this boss busy. Okay, so that when this boss busy line is activated, then no other devices can request for the bus. Okay, and after using the bus, D1 will release the bus. Okay, or when the D1 will send is when the D1 generates the release signal, then other devices can again send the signal for the bus or bus request. So basically in the daisy chaining, the bus master checks for every device. Okay, if D1 is not requesting or not sending any type of request, then it will ask to the D2, then D3. Okay, so in this type of mechanism, the advantages is that it is basically simple. It looks like simple. Okay, yes, one after another will check, and if D1 is not sending the request, then the boss grant signal will be given to the D2 like this. But the disadvantages is that if there are a huge number of highest priority devices, then the lowest priority device has to wait for a long period of time. Okay, and also it is slower as it has to check each and every device, then it can generate the grant signal. So this type of mechanism or process is slower, and also it is not fair enough, as the lowest priority device has to wait for a long period of time. Okay, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of daisy chain method. One is simple, advantages is simple, and disadvantages is not fair and it is slower. Okay. Next, see about the pooling method. Okay, next is your pooling method. Pooling method means here three lines are there one is pulling line, another one is boss request, then boss busy. Okay, and each device is connected to all these lines. Okay, and in this the boss master will decide who will get the boss according to the device ID. Okay, so let's take the steps. That first step is, if boss is not busy, then make the boss request. Okay, if a device wants to make a boss request, then it has to check that if the boss is busy or not. Okay, so then in the second step, then after the boss request is taken, then the master pulls by placing device ID on pulling line. Okay, and each device ID is given in the pulling line according to the pulling line. Okay, so for example, if there are 8 devices, then the pulling line will be 3. Okay, there will be 3 lines, and according to this we will the boss master will send the boss grant signal. Okay, and the master, so it is written here that master pulls by placing device ID on pulling line. Okay, this pulling line, the device ID is placed. Okay, let here D1 may be device 2 may be highest priority, may be less, or D3 may be highest priority, may be less, according to the device IDs. Okay, so according to the device ID will generate the priority, and basis on that priority it will get the access. Okay, if device gets boss grant in may mark boss busy. Okay, so according to the device ID, let D1 is the highest device ID, then it will receive a boss grant signal from the boss master. So after getting the boss grant signal, then it will make the boss busy request. It will generate a signal that boss will busy, so that D1 and D3 are not able to send the request. Okay, so let's see the advantages and disadvantages of this mechanism. So advantages is no disadvantages of daisy chain. So what are the disadvantages of daisy chain? Is that it is not fair and also slower. Okay, and disadvantages is, here is the extra line comes, so sometimes it makes complex. That is the pulling line, and then that is pulling delay. What you have to check the device IDs on this pulling. Okay, so when one device is requesting, or more than one device is requesting, each time it will generate the numbers. Okay, who will get the device ID greater? It will receive the grant signal. Okay, so that is called as your pulling delay. Okay, let's see about the independent request mechanism. So in the independent request mechanism, as you can see in the picture, that each device will generate a boss request signal, and then boss master will generate the grant signal. Okay, and it is basically done by using the priority basis, and also so, and for D2, R2 is the request line and G2 is the grant line, like this. And once if D1 is requesting and it will take the grant line, activated, then it has to release the boss busy signal. Okay, like this it will perform. And the advantages of this is it is fast, basically it is fast, and it is dynamic priority. That means dynamic means at the time of request send it will set the priority. And then more lines, that means here as you can see, for 3 devices there are 6 lines extra 6 lines are there. So for n devices there will be 2n number of extra lines. So that are the disadvantages of independent request. Okay, and this is all about your boss arbitration.